You probably have faced this at your job site, or you're probably facing it right now. To some people, it's a pattern. But my prayer is that after today, we will all be very vigilant at our job sites and not take things just the way we see them, because sometimes these things are deeper than we see. And so if you just have to use the naked eye or the physical eye, you probably wouldn't last long at that job. So this lady tells me, she calls me and she complains to me. I actually called to check up on her, and she just laments. She laments about her job. And from what I can gather about what she's telling me from her job was that they have a lady at the job who is not even like the top boss. It's not like she's the director of nursing. It's none of that. But she probably is just a supervisor or one of the nurses or doing whatever. But this lady has been known from the day she came into the job. She's caused people who've been on the job for maybe like 20 years to be fired, some who have been on the job to be 8 years. In fact, she takes delight in making sure people are run out or fired out of the job. But she stays there. When she starts behind you or she starts picking on you, you know that you are the next to go. And it's not like she who is on the job, she knows the job better than any other person, or she's doing the best for the job. But she's there perpetuating wickedness. And like I said, she's caused people who's been on the job, worked for that job like 20 years before she ever came in. Others that have worked 8 years, she will cause them to be fired over minute things and stuff like that. And so she's well known at the job. So I called this lady and we are to it just to check up on her. It's an auntie that I love, and she just laments. She's lamenting to me, "Oh, Elsie, this," and I'm like, what you are telling me, it sounds like this lady is so powerful, but you are making me to understand that even because she's so powerful, it's not like she's your top boss at the job. So what makes this lady so powerful at the job? And she tells me, oh, she doesn't really know, but all she knows is that once the lady starts picking on you, you will soon be out of the job. And she was telling me with school and everything, she doesn't have the time to go look for another job. She doesn't need this kind of stress from work. She just needs to work and be able to get on with her life, do school, take care of her kids and everything. And so I said, okay, it sounds like this lady is using other powers at that job. Because you can tell me she is not the boss, she's not the supervisor, she's not the director of nursing, she's not whatever. She's just maybe one of the nurses there. But all she does is get people fired. Because even if you are a supervisor, or let's say you are a director of nursing or whatever at a job, and all you do is get people fired, it tells me you have a problem with your management skills. You know, you cannot be a good manager and all you do is get people fired. So I said, but you are telling me she is none of that. But then still she is this powerful that people are afraid of her and people are losing their jobs because of her. I said, no, it doesn't sound right. Something must be wrong. I said, okay, you need to sit up, make sure she's out of that job before she gets you out of there. And so the lady asked me, what, Elsie, what do you want me to do? I said, no, you have to get her out of the job, because from what you're telling me, it is very clear this lady is not operating with normal powers at that job. If she is that powerful that she makes people that scared at the job. I said, it is not clear. It is very clear she's not operating with normal powers. She has something that she's using, that she has put everybody, suppressed everybody, and put everybody in check at the job, and she is manifesting. And so if you do not take her out, she will soon run you out of the job too. And so she asked me what she should do. I told her, I said, well, I will always tell you, pray. I asked her, do you believe in anointing oil? She said yes. I told her, go get anointing oil. Pray over it. And before you go to work the next day, you rub your feet. You rub your feet. I told her, I said, make sure that you are the first person at work that day. She asked me, she said, what did you say? I said, no, yes. Make sure that you are the first person to get to the nurse's station or to get to work that day. She asked me what you do. I said, yes. When you go, you have to use the door that this lady uses to, whatever entrance she uses to get into work. I said, you will use that entrance. When you get up in the morning, you will take the anointing oil and you will rub your feet. You rub your hands. I said, when you rub your feet, you're going to pray. You say, Lord, Bible says anointing breaks every yoke. You are breaking every yoke of stronghold, of witchcraft, of whatever it is this lady is manifesting with at the job that makes her this powerful at work. I said, when you rub your feet, I told her, I said, when you rub your feet, you go in. You be the first to get to work that day. When you go in, you touch the door that you all move in to go to work, to go up to the nurse's station. I said, you have feet that you have anointed. I said, when you get to the door, you cross, use your feet, your foot, draw a line, proceed to the nurse's station. When you get to the nurse's station, take your anointed hands, hold the nurse's station, stand there and pray. I said, pray that, Lord, whatever yoke that is here, that this lady has placed on this job, that makes her this powerful, that she gets people fired who have worked on this job for 20 years, 8 years. He said, Lord, if she is operating under normal powers, if she is not using anything, fine. But Lord, if she has placed anything in here at this job that makes her this powerful, I said, Lord, pray and say, Lord, break it, destroy it, and expose her. My aunt told me, oh, yes. I said, yes, make sure you do it. I said, if you don't do it, she will run you out of there and you will not have a job. So she tells me, she goes there, she did what I asked her to do. She went, prayed, took anointing oil, rubbed her hands, went up and prayed at the job. And I remember when I was talking to her, she told me, she said, Elsie, you have said something that is baffling. I said, what is it? She told me, she said, Elsie, that lady is always the first at work. Before we get to work, she is already there. I said, there you go. Why is she always the first at work? Is it that she has so much work to do, or she's just the first, she goes there, by the time you people are coming, she's done all the incantations and put all the power so that when you come, you are just following. Her law becomes command. I said, yeah, that's why I knew why I told you, be the first to go there. And so that before she comes that day, you will pray and break that her charm, or whatever she comes and is enchanting, you've already placed the power of God there. So she goes and does it the same, like I told her, stood there, prayed, and I told her the whole day, as you are moving around, pushing carts, walking, begin to pray. I said, enforce prayer throughout. Pray throughout that day and continue to pray. A few days after I told her to do that, she calls me up. I was just like, oh my God, she's probably calling me to tell me she has been fired. She calls me up, the first thing she screams, she said, oh, my daughter, your witchcraft has worked. Your witchcraft has worked. Your witchcraft has worked. Your own juju has worked. It has worked. I said, what is it? I said, I don't have juju. I know that there is a bigger power or a greater power that when it moves in or when you call it, the lesser power will bow. I don't have juju. If that is what you call it, so, oh yeah, that is my own juju. So she told me, she goes further to explain that she did what I asked her to do. And that day, 2 days, it was like she was off and she goes to work. And they tell her that that lady had been asked to resign from work, to let go. She is very shocked that what could cause this powerful lady to be asked to resign her job or be fired. She was told that what had happened was the lady had come to work that day that she went and stood and prayed and everything. The lady came to work saying she is that's why I would always tell people, you see, when you see nasty people, when people who do evil, you know, it's not, it's in them. It's in them. She had come to work. She went and sat down, wrote a very nasty mail about her own boss, about one of the ladies who happens to be a senior boss to her at the job. She wrote a nasty email about that lady and sent it to another lady at the job. So the lady opens up the email, sits and it's reading it, and then the lady who the letter is about, that's the bigger boss, she comes into the office, maybe coming to see that lady to talk with her about something. When she comes, she just stands at the door and doesn't say anything. And the lady is reading that mail, and out of curiosity too, she reads the mail. And because of how nasty the mail is, this lady was so absorbed in reading the mail that she didn't even notice her colleague, that the colleague was standing at the door, standing behind her. And so she continues to read the mail. And this lady that the mail was about, she is also very shocked to see that that nasty mail is about her. So she reads all of the mail, and then she makes her presence known. And as the lady is shaking and trying to cover the computer, she just tells her, I've read everything, don't bother about it. Send the email to me. The lady tries to plead. He said, no, send the email to me or I will subpoena for that email. She takes the email, it's like she sends it to corporate and whatever, and the lady is called and asked to resign or leave the job, and that is the end about her. My aunt eventually finishes from that job. She left there on her own terms. She graduated. She was able to go to school, finish, graduate, and then left there on her own terms, not because somebody was there perpetuating wickedness and making sure people are fired from the job and all that. Now, why do I tell us this story? Like I said before, if you haven't had this experience or you're probably going through it now, there are people on the job that don't come to the job, like they say in my language, that is, they don't come to the job with an empty stomach. They don't come to the job like that. They don't come to work. They come to perpetuate wickedness. And when they are on the job, that's all they do. Get people fired, get write-ups, just do horrible things. America being the melting pot that it is, we come from different places. We come from different countries. One thing that makes me remember this thing that I want to talk to you about is You see, because we come from different countries, when we are coming, there are some people who do not leave their gods. The Asian, as they are coming, they bring their gods. The Africans, as we are coming, we carry our gods and we are bringing. The Europeans, as we are coming, everybody is carrying their gods and bringing, carrying their gods and bringing, carrying their gods and bringing. That's what we've done coming into a land like America, where they give us the playing field and allow, and everybody is asked to play and to thrive. Some people believe that the only way to thrive is to be bringing the charms or the gods they have brought in, is to sit on others or destroy others while making it. And so they sit on in the jobs, they make sure that you have work, because you work for 20 years and a lady just comes in and you lose it like that. Not saying that it's not possible if you do foolish things, but what will make someone sit on a job or be at a job and all they do is get people fired? They are that powerful that even supervisors are afraid of them. Their word is law. When they talk, you see the big bosses are shaking. Not because they have ideas that are better than yours. No, that's not it. Not because they are too smart. Not because they know the job better than any other person. No. But they are just there. They probably don't even work, but they are so powerful that whatever they say, whatever they do, wherever they go, is their word against yours. And most often than not, you will see people walked out of the job like that and they lose their livelihood like that. If you have such people at your job, that's why I say you can't just take these things lightly. Pray. Yes, it works. If you have such people at your job, one thing is clear. They are operating under something that you do not know and you should not take lightly. Sometimes they are not even supervisors or maybe even have a position of authority or anything. Sometimes they are just your colleagues. Yeah, they are the same level with you, but whatever they say, it stands. They come to work, they are not doing any work, but once they see the supervisor come to work, they go and sit with the supervisor. They talk, that is, they have the supervisors under lock and key. It's like they have wrapped them and put in their armpits. And whatever they tell the supervisor believes, whereas you who is there actually doing the work and working hard, the supervisor sees nothing good in you. Why? Because they have other powers they are operating with, constantly shaking pots, constantly doing juju, constantly calling home, whatever it is. Some of them buy gifts, take to these supervisors. They don't even understand what is going on with the gifts. They take it and they go, and they don't know that they've just been wrapped and put on it. They do horrible things. I remember a place I once worked with, there was this girl, she would come, she does no work, but immediately the supervisor comes, she moves around, she will go and sit in the office, they will talk, they will laugh, and her patients are there, the patients are never taken care of, but she's never fired. Some of us understood the game, but what could we do at that time? Nothing. They would see you as you who does the work. They see you as a problem, but those who do not do the work are never seen as a problem. Sometimes, like I said, they are not even supervisors, they are your own colleagues. You work with them. We've even heard stories of how nasty and jealous some have been, so much so that they even come and poison people. Some people will say, oh, it cannot be proven. But those of us from Babylon, like I would always say, we know that these things happen because we spend time, we call those gods that we left before coming, those ones that we brought, we believe that the only way to the top or to rise is if we put others down. If we get them fired out of their positions, then we take the positions. If we have them out of the job, then whereas truth is, when they get these people fired, when they destroy this, they use this witchcraft, use these powers to suppress people and get people out of the way, it's not like when the people are taken out of the job, the money is given to them or added to their paycheck. No. Just people perpetuating and delivering wickedness at the job site. We must be aware of these things. When we get to a job, let us do our best. And if we want to leave the job, let us leave the job on our own terms, not because someone sits somewhere and feels like they decide who comes, who goes. She fired, she got fired. Be a good boss. Be a good colleague. Thanks for watching.